Hello everyone, I'm August Darius Danielsson. I'm #1 leading Grandmaster Numerologist in the ancient branch of numerology called the Chaldean or the Persian Achaemenid Numerology. And perhaps many of you don't really know what numerology is, what it's all about, and what it can do. So in this video, I'm going to inform you about the history of numerology, how it works, what it can do, and so to take it to the test, I will do a case in which I will talk about the two candidates for the upcoming US presidential election, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And in this case, from their birth numbers, their birth names, I will tell everything about these two candidates, and so I will also predict the outcome of the election, and I will also tell what happened in these two candidates' life, what happened this year with them, what will happen next year. But I will also do the very same thing for the entire nation, United States of America. So I will also talk about the future for the country. So I will begin with the history. Many people don't really know the true history of numerology. However, no one really knows, but there is a myth. There is a myth that is famous in Persia, because in Persia was where it all began. The myth was that the ancient numerology was brought to a Persian king named Achaemenid, 800 BC, by the Persian god of wisdom. Enki was his name. So, in this myth, it happened that 800 BC in Greece there lived a great hero. His name was Perseus. Perseus was a demigod. He was the son of Zeus and the son of a queen, a Greek queen. And he was a hero because he had beheaded the evil snake woman Medusa. And Medusa was this woman who everyone who looked at her, they immediately turned to stone due her ugliness. And at this very same time, in the country of Ethiopia, there lived a queen. Her name was Cassiopeia. She was a beautiful queen, but she had a daughter who was even more beautiful. Her daughter's name was Andromeda. Andromeda was so beautiful that everyone around all nations talked about her immense, astonishingly beauty. Even her mother, she bragged night and day how beautiful she was. She said that Andromeda is the most beautiful girl in the world, and that she is more beautiful than any nymphs, and even more beautiful than Poseidon's sirens of the sea. So this was rumored around the world that Queen Cassiopeia had said these things, and also the god himself, Poseidon, he happened to hear about this. He went furious because no one was allowed to be more beautiful than his sirens of the sea and his mermaids and his other creatures of the ocean. So he was so angry that he wanted to punish Queen Cassiopeia for saying these things. So one night he broke into their palace, and in the middle of the night he went into her room and he abducted Princess Andromeda, and he ran away with her on his horse and took her out far away. No one really knew where they went for now. But so was it that the hero, the young Perseus, he heard of this, and he decided, because of her immense beauty, he needed a queen, and he fell in love with her just about hearing how beautiful she was. So he decided to go out with his Pegasus, this horse with wings, and he flew up in the air. He looked everywhere he could, and so it came to him that Poseidon is the god of the ocean. So he started searching across the oceans of the world started around Egypt and Greece. But so he came to the Persian Gulf, and so he heard some screaming from down below the clouds. And so suddenly he dove down under the clouds, and he saw on a great rock there was this beautiful woman who could be no one but Andromeda. She was chained to this rock with cuffs around her wrists and her ankles. And as he came there, a great massive sea monster, a huge snake, started to approach in order to eat Andromeda. But just before that happened, Perseus, he dove down with his Pegasus and dropped his head of Medusa right in front of the monster's eye, and immediately the monster turned into stone. So this monster was no more, and he freed Andromeda. And they got away together on his horse. And so Perseus said right away, "It is not safe to go back to Greece. Poseidon will start looking at you, looking for you. So if you do that, you will be in grave danger, and so will I for rescuing you. We need to go and find somewhere else, a brand new place where no one lives, and we will build our very own empire from scratch." So they discovered this place in ancient, which was later called Persia. In this great area, they discovered a place with no people. They started to settle down there. This was the place that later happened to be called Pasargad. Pasargad was the city that was called after themselves, because his name was Perseus, she was Andromeda, and later they had 5 sons and 2 daughters. This family was called the Perseides. The Perseides is where the word Persian comes from. So they were the very first people of the Persian tribe. However, before that there were the Babylonians, there were the Medes, there were the Elamites. These 3 tribes, and so now were the Persians, or the Perseides. They established their own vassal kingdom, very small in the beginning, and they had some new ideas that should change what they came from. They came from the Greek Empire, where there were a lot of hardness, a lot of rough politics, injustice, people who got a lot of corruption as well. And they decided that they want to build a nation where everyone was free to believe what they want and do what they want, be who they want, and live how they want. So no matter what people believed, everyone was welcome in this new kingdom. People heard of this, rumors spread around the area, and some people moved to this place, and it started growing more and more. And so it happened that this became a local kingdom, this city of Pasargad. So as this little kingdom expanded, there was their oldest son. His name was Perseus. Perseus, even at this age of 7, he disliked his name. He thought it doesn't resonate with whom he was. Perseus, he said this, and it started also spreading. So people started talking about that the young prince didn't like his name. This rumor also spread to the Persian king, or the Babylonian king, the god of wisdom. The god of wisdom, his name was Enki. Enki visited Perseus one day at his palace, and Enki told him, "Dear boy, there's a reason why you don't like your name. That is because your name holds a bad vibration, and you should change your name," Enki said. And so Perseus didn't understand. And so Enki explained to him that all names, they have various characteristics. So the names everyone holds that decides whom we are as persons. And it is simple math. It is simple math as all numbers from 0 to 9, they are bound to a planet within our solar system. That means if you're born one day, for example, the 1st of August, for example, 1989, in the number 1, you are bound with the sun, which represents all the abilities that the sun holds and the characteristics. So, for example, the sun is all about winner mentality, wanting to be the very best, wanting to become a leader, but also this kind of leader who like to outsource, make other people do the job so one can just relax, have a great deal of personal freedom. So the person born in August is the 8th month of the year. The number 8 is bound with planet Saturn. Saturn is all about progression, being grounded, being solid, and facing the challenges of life and mastering them, conquering them, making things happen, things that will have a lasting change and that will make a positive altering of things and making success happen. So 1989, 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 9 makes the number 27 when you add these numbers together. So in this number 27, you have the number 9, which is the sum when you add 2 plus 7. The number 9 is the number of planet Mars, which is all about authority, honesty, saying things just the way they are. That means also if this is unbalanced with bad number combinations in the names, it can have a negative outcome. So for example, that the person is too rough, speaking too hard to people and has a bad temper. But when it's balanced, it means that this person has a very good character and is very honest, saying things just the way they are and straight ahead, keeping no secrets. And therefore also a great leader because it's someone whom people can trust. So is it also that in the names we hold, all letters are bound to a number. So for example, if your name is Peter, then you have the letter P, which is the number 8, and you have the letter E, which is the number 5, and so on. When you add these numbers together, it makes the number 24. So in the number 24, you have the moon as the number 2, which is about intuition, creativity. You have the number 4, which is planet Uranus. It's innovation, new ideas, thinking outside the box. And you have the number 6, number of planet Venus. It's all about charisma, family, and also wanting to unite people. And it's also about love. But so is it that the numbers in one's names, they must harmonize with one's birthday. So everything we are in life, everything we do, the very least thing that happens because of the numbers in our name in their correlation with our birthday. So is it that every little thing that happens in our life, for example, our childhood, if we have a good childhood, we have that because from the given name from birth, we have some numbers that dictate that we will have a good childhood. Or if we have a bad childhood, if people is tormented with bad parents, it's also because of bad numbers in their name, so they will experience failure from their parents. And so is it that this boy, Perseus, he was told to change his name into Achaemenid Numerology, which made some very favorable numbers to him. And he went to tell this to his parents, and they also met Enki, and so they accepted it. So now, from this moment on, everyone should now call him Achaemenid. And so they did. He was 7 years old, and from this day off, he started this thing called the Karmic transformation process, in which all his karma was transformed into the new karma of his new name. So Achaemenid started to integrating these new personal abilities, and in only 4 or 5 years, everyone started to see that his wisdom was growing every day. His eloquence grew, so he started already at the age of 11, giving great speeches about politics, and also became a co-ruler with his father, Persian, because he was so intelligent. Everyone started to love him. He became so popular. He became Persia already at that age. So at the age of 15, Achaemenid, he became the ruler. Now, as Perseus, he abdicated, and so now Achaemenid was hailed as the king of Pasargad. This kingdom of Pasargad, it was known all over the world now, and many other nations, they started voluntarily joining his kingdom. So came the Elamites, who wanted to join his kingdom. It was now an empire at his later days. And so went it on for generations. So came his grandson Cyrus the Great, who built a massive Persian empire that reached its peak by King Darius the Great. And so Xerxes the Great, Artaxerxes, and the whole rest of this empire and dynasty called the Achaemenid dynasty. That's also why this is called the Achaemenid Numerology, as it came from King Achaemenid, who got taught by the god Enki, the god of wisdom. However, this sounds like a myth, and as I'm saying this now, and if you've never heard of this numerology before, you may think that this is nuts. But nevertheless, everything can be proved 100% scientifically. So that means that you can take any person in the world and just give me, you don't even have to give me their names, you could also just type the name into a numerological calculator, calculate the numbers, just give me the numbers and their birthday. Here I will be able to tell everything to the very last detail about this very person. And so if you ask this person after my reading how much accurate I was, my score spread about 800 people. That is that an average score at 85% of what I say is accurate. This means that if what I said was not true, if it was just something I made up, then my score would not be that high. So I can see all traits of people, such as their personality, their temper, their love life, their health, their social relations, cash flow, and I can also, from the numbers, calculate what happened in their past, what will happen in the future, what happens in the present. And just as one little evidence, I will do this with Mr. Trump and with Hillary Clinton, and also for the country United States of America. To do this, to calculate the numbers of a country, of a person, or a business company, you will make something called a numeroscope. It looks like this, and this is a more advanced mathematical formula, but you can download the instructions on my homepage how to make these numeroscopes. So here I hold the numeroscope for the country United States of America, and after that I have here on the other side calculated this called the numerological year ranks for 2016. And by this I will tell, I will also tell what had happened, but this is not a great deal because you can read it in the news, but what you can't read in the news is what will happen next year, which I will tell. And so I have here Hillary Clinton and her year ranks for this year and next year, and also for the election date, her day vibrations. So here I have Donald Trump, his numbers, from which I will tell all about him as a person, and also his year ranks, where I will tell what happened to him this year and also what will happen next year, what will happen on the election date. So first I will start to talk about the nation, United States of America, where all of this is taking place. So the way you do this is that first you must find out what is the date for the establishment of the country. The United States of America was founded the 4th of July 1776. So these numbers are what makes this thing called the higher self and the highest self. And in the name United States of America, from these names you calculate the numbers. These numbers is those we have written here. And so when these numbers are put together in their sum, they make this number here, which we call the life theme number, that dictates what is basically a great personal character of the country. A country and a person, company, animal, everything. Everything is living entities. So a country is a living entity that has a characteristic. And so if you want to know more about how these are calculated, you can download the ebook on my webpage. That is freely to download. So I will now start to talk about the numbers for United States of America. The country was founded the 4th of the month, so that means that the birth vibration of the country is the number 4, and the number 4 is the number associated with planet Uranus. Uranus is all about innovation, wanting to think new ways, having a great deal of new ideas that are meant to make change in the world, change of people, and also sometimes having the role as being the black sheep, because the country always wants to do things differently. Like if you say that the United States have never adopted the metric system, which everyone thinks, at least in Europe, many people think that doesn't make any sense, but the number 4 also means that their ways of doing things differently, that is something that one is very stubborn about when one is represented by the number 4. So with this number 4, that is also a number associated with electronics, for example, computer, internet, everything that has to do with science and technology. And if we ask ourselves, who invented the computer? Who invented the internet? Who invented the iPhone? Who invented all these things? We know the answer. The United States of America did. And so is it that they were founded in the 7th month, which is the number 7, that is associated with the planet Neptune. Neptune is a number of spirituality. It is also a number of clairvoyance. It is also a number of religion. Like we know number 7, that is a holy number. So the number 7, that is also a number of dreams. That is a number of good and bad. It can be good dream or it can be a nightmare. Intuition can also become a bad thing. It can become, for example, mental illness, because one's psychic channels are so open that one cannot keep bad things out. So the number 7, that means that they have a great deal of spirituality. in this nation. That's why also there are so many different religions. That's also why in the American money bills it says, "In God we trust." In Europe, as a comparison, more countries are more separated religion from state, where in the United States they have more faith in religions than people have in Europe. For example, as in Denmark, where I'm located, where I come from. And that can be seen in the number 7, which are many places here in this numeroscope. It is here, and so it is also here in the highest self. And the United States is also founded in the year 1776. When you add these numbers together, it makes the number 21, and 2 plus 1 makes 3, so we will refer to the number as 21-3. Here we have the number 3, which is the number of planet Jupiter. It is about having a great deal of academical knowledge. The number 3 is about learning how to crack the code to make a major success. For example, in the United States, there are a lot of great universities. If you take Stanford, Harvard, Yale, MIT, and so on, some of the best in the world. And that is often that is the number 3 that has to do with these things, such as education. And in the number 21-3, you also have the number 2, the planet of the moon, which is about creativity, learning, intuition. And this intuition is not just meditating, praying, but it's also the ability to learn. So it's the number 1, which is the number of the sun, that is all about winner mentality, wanting to become the very best. So it means that here, this knowledge that is built up in the country, it has also the abilities, the winner mentality, to go and use this to make great success all over the world and make it an international success, as we see that the country has many numbers for international business. The United States have the number 32-5 as the big destiny number. The number 32-5 is about corporate business. It's about traveling around the world, expanding your firm. And so the small destiny number is the number 14-5, which is about constant ongoing business, which is about business with innovation. So it means like building a business on new ideas, and so also taking these ideas internationally. And what is very interesting here is that if we look at this, which is called the column number, it is the number 51-6. The number 51-6 is a number of military activity. It is about great advancement in military, army, air force, and other things, but it also is a number of having many fights, being involved in many conflicts. So it is also a number of being betrayed, and also, in the worst case, being assassinated. Being assassinated, think of 9/11, 2001, you can call that an assassination, that the World Trade Center got assassinated. That was a huge blow for the country itself. This major tragedy. But so is it also that we have the life theme number 21-3, which is about protection. So that means that the United States of America is very well protected. That doesn't mean that they will never fail, but it means that they have more karmic protection than most other places do. And that means also they can get away with a lot of things. As the number 51-6, the United States have been involved with many wars, and where the outcome was that they may have done some things that were not good. Take, for example, the war in Iraq, where there had been a lot of torturing, and see the war in Vietnam, and also during the war of Vietnam, where many US students who peacefully demonstrated got shot. But so also President Nixon, he got away with it. And that's what this number 23-5 means, that there may have been some problems but they do most of the times get away with it. And this number 516, it also, as it's a number of military, that's also why everyone has the right to own a gun, the Second Amendment. That means that the whole country, as the column number, that means it's the entire foundation of the country. The entire foundation of the country is military. That means that the whole country is built on military. They are built on the foundation that the weapon industry, I don't know if this is true, but many people talk about this, at least here in Denmark, that the country is built so that the weapon industry, they own the politicians. So they support their election campaigns, making them elected, so the president can start some wars, so that they can make money. Again, I don't know if this is true, but that's just what you hear if you live here in Denmark. And so we have these numbers here, 7, 9, 13, 4. The number 9, when it is located in the solar plexus center, it represents the self-attitude, the attitude about oneself, the self-view. And here is it, that the number 9, that represents hard labor, hard work. And that's also why in the United States they say, if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. And that is also this solar plexus center that represents the love life. And about the love life, there's also this number 13-4. The number 13-4 is about when it's located in the solar plexus center, in the self-view, thinking always, perhaps the green grass is more green at the neighbor's house than at our house. So that means also in love relations that it has a tendency to become cheating. That means that in the United States, there are a lot of famous people who have been caught in cheating. For example, President Clinton and President Kennedy and a lot of others you can keep mentioning of famous people who have been unfaithful to their partners. That's because this is the core of the American self-view. That is these numbers. That is the profile of the nation. And so in this right side, there is this very amazing number combination of 23-5, 17-8 and 13-4. If we take the single numbers 5, 8, 13, 4, that is the number combination called the World Conqueror. That is a number combination of the most unlikely thing can become a major worldwide success. It is a number combination of things that no one expected can happen. This is what makes the American dream. This way of saying that if you are nobody, you can become a billionaire. That is because this number 23-5, that is the number of making money, doing things, getting sold the idea to people. And the number 17-8 is about international business. It's about being famous, doing things that can go all around the world and make you famous. And 13-4 is the major change that changes your life into the new. But this can also go the wrong direction. It can also mean that one has had a fair job all his life or her life and had a family that one has provided. But suddenly one happens to get an illness. One probably gets cancer and is not insured. So one has to leave the house and end up on the street. That is the negative part of this World Conqueror. And that what way it goes depending on the number of the individual's numeroscope. That means this the combinations of numbers in the names with people's birthday, how balanced they are or how unbalanced they are. So it's a number combination that can take people both ways. The number 178 is about being internationally famous. It is about the number 178 as it is described in the ancient writings. It is said it's a number of immortality and that one's name will be forever known. That means that with this number 178, one can, for example, as it's a number often associated with stage art, such as actors, musicians, and famous business people that really goes all the way to the top. So this is why the US entertainment industry is so big, because this number 178 makes that everything that the United States do, they have a major influence on the rest of the world, because this number 178 makes a huge charisma, so it affects something in people. That's also why many US traditions, holidays, movies, everything, that they are being implemented all across the world. As in Denmark, we now celebrate Halloween. Some people also celebrate Thanksgiving. Even some people here, they celebrate the 4th of July. And that's what this number 178 means. It is a number that what the United States do will be forever known. So there's also this number 156, which is a number of putting people under the spell. For example, under the spell that people have a major patriotism, that they really get under the spell for the greatness of this country. But this number is also about manipulation and corruption. It is a number where one doesn't like not to have the control. So when one doesn't have the control, one manipulates to get it. And so there's also a very bad temper associated with this number. That is from the name of America. So this number 156 is an extremely complex number. It is a number of very hot temper, wanting to be in control of everything, doesn't like not to have the control, and that means also about music. It means that spellbinding the listener that listens to this music or movie or whatever it is, but also a very strong intuition. But it can also cause, because this is a very occult number. It is an extremely occult number. It is the most occult number. That's why in the United States you hear so much of haunted houses, ghost adventures, but also ET visits, but also conspiracy theories. That is also associated with this number 156. So it is a number that has good abilities, but also some bad ones. So depending, of course, of what you think of bad, good or bad, but what some people would usually associate with good or bad. So in the name states makes the number 22. The number 22, you have the number 2, the number of the moon, which is about wanting to do very many good things, helping people, wanting to give a huge gift to the world, change the world, perhaps for millions, maybe billions of people. Passion. It's about passion of doing things. But so also this number can become maniac when this passion becomes so out of control, which it can become because of this number 156. But also there is the positive side. So it really depends on if it's a good day or a bad day, whether it's the one or the other side. And here is it also that in the highest self, there's also this combination of 21, 3, 8, and 5. This is what is called the money triad. So that means that money, making money, is very important for people in the United States of America. Now, I want to talk about the future, the near future of the United States of America. For 2017, the numbers of the year ranks are completely identical to the year ranks of 2008. That means, I would say, this means that there will be a major financial crisis next year. In the beginning of the year, in the main row, there is this number combination 145 and is shadowed by the number combination 84123. That means a major change, negative change related to money. So that means the rest of this year there's a huge loss of money. Here I would say that most likely there will be another financial crisis, similar to that of 2008. So this is about the United States of America. Now I want to talk about first Donald Trump, next Hillary Clinton. And so I will tell who I believe wins the election. Donald Trump, he is born the 14th of June 1946. That means that his birth vibration is the number 14/5. The number 14/5 has the sum 5, which is the number of planet Mercury. This is all about communication, talking, and having a lot of vigor to do things. But however, there is this number 11/2 that is associated with the number 14/5, and this number 11/2 makes him sometimes not have his full strength. So that means sometimes he has to bend off, and like for example, he said that all Mexicans, they should leave the country, but now he talks about integrating. So because he realized the first thing couldn't happen, so now he has to change and change what he usually said just to please people. So this number 11/2 is about a great deal of worries. Worries like, am I good enough? Do I do this good enough? What do people think of me? And even though you don't see that, you see that sometimes. You can see that sometimes he said that some of the old things he used to say, that he doesn't say them anymore. For example, at the presidential debate, he was asked about this, preventing Muslims from traveling to the United States. He doesn't say this anymore. It's because of this number 11/2, which is about not only stress but also problems sometimes sleeping, and perhaps also addictions to, for example, cigarettes or anything, perhaps alcohol. Can be many kind of addictions. It can also just be watching TV to forget what is happening, or anything that has to do with removing the attention into something else to get peace of mind. So Mr. Trump, he is born in the 6th month of the year, June, that is associated with the planet Venus, which is about family, close relations, love. But when this number 6 is not balanced, it becomes some problems with these things. That means that he has problems with his family, and he does have problems with relationships. And but also, even though he has the problems, he attracts a lot of, for example, he has a great charisma, so he attracts love, but he perhaps loses it again often. Has a great deal of problems in his love life, and he was born in the year 1946. The number 22, which I also talked about with the United States, this number of having a major deal of passion. Major deal of passion for what he does, but this can also become a maniac. Being too much passion, so things can sometimes be too much of this that can be not good. And so, in his heart center, which is associated with his mind, he has the numbers 4 and 13/4. That means how people see him. And the number 4 and 13/4, they're both associated with planet Uranus. So this number means it's about change. It's about changing systems, wanting to change the world, wanting to make some innovation, some new things. And if you look at Mr. Trump, he's very unlike any other candidates there had ever been. He always keeps saying that he wants to make change. He said that he wants to change the failed policy of Barack Obama and all the other presidents that has been before him. So if you look at his webpage and you look at his plans for creating jobs, these things are very innovative. These are things and ideas that had never been seen before in such way. And the number 13-4 and 31-4, they are his destiny numbers. The number 13-4, that is, like I said before, innovation, but also knowing how to carry out the new ideas. But the number 31-4 is a number of sometimes being different and therefore feeling lonely. So that means sometimes, even though he had many people around him, he still feels like he is alone, feels like he is so different, so no one really cares about him. He does have this feeling about himself. And in his middle name, John, he has the number 18-9. The number 18-9 is a number of working really hard. It's about really being a fighter, but also sometimes we have the number 9 that is associated with planet Mars. It's all about strength, power, brute power, just getting things done, just keep working. And you also have the number 1, which is the number of the sun. It's about winner mentality, wanting to be the very best, but also dislike to lose. And here is the number 8, the number of planet Saturn, which is about just keep moving on, keep working. So that means that this number, we have 3 very hard numbers together. There's no love here, it's all about just progressing, getting things done. And so here there's also a lot of bad temper and sometimes also being betrayed. And the number 9 is about honesty, justice, saying things just the way they are. But when it is associated with these 2 other single numbers, 1 and 8, it becomes more of polluted and polluted way of justice. So it's more like his justice. It has to be justice, but on his terms. But nevertheless, he says what he believes, because the number 9, that is about honesty. That is about speaking the mind, saying exactly what he believes. And that's also why people like him, because he is honest. At least that's what people say. And from the numbers, it actually indicates that he means what he is saying. And so, in his solar plexus center, that represents his love life, he has the numbers 18-9 twice. And when the number 18-9, it goes twice together in the solar plexus center, it means that he is extremely rough on himself. He talks hard to himself. He has some major expectations on himself, and that also means that if he fails at something, he gets extremely angry with himself. It also means that in his love life, he is very rough, he is very dictative, and these stories about rape, I'm not and what he said about women, these things, that it's about wanting to be in control. It's about that he wants to be in control of his love life. It's about that he wants to decide how things should be on his terms. And so he has the life theme number 21-3. And the number 21-3 means that most of his life he had to learn a lot of things. He had to try some things in order to get more experienced, in order to crack the code and make a major deal of money. And his birthday is the number 14-5, a number associated with money. But it's also a money number where the great fortune usually comes late in life. But also with the number 21-3, there have been a lot of learning processes. Like he had been bankrupt sometimes until he finally just found the formula, and now finally he has the success ongoing. But it also means that to get there, it has been rough and a lot of challenges. So he has the column number, which is 437. This number is all about that he wants to make revolution, really change things, really make radical changes in life. And so in his highest self, he has the number 281 as his column number there. This is a number of going to the courthouse and end up in a lot of suings. And that's what he did. He had done many times. And so in his solar plexus center for the highest self, he has the number 6. That means that also, even though he's very rough to his partners, there's also sometimes he has also this unity of creating good bonds with his nearest relations. And now we are going to talk about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, she was born the 26th of October 1947. And Hillary Clinton, she is represented by the number 268 as her birthday. And in her first name, Hillary, she has this number 167 that makes the aura of 156. And this is a very dangerous combination. In the ancient writings, it was said that when the number 156 is associated with the number 8, black magic appears, and the number 167 is about fatalities. So that means black magic associated with people who are dying. And it's not so strange that there are many conspiracy theories about her and the Clinton Foundation, who had been accused for orchestrating killings on people. And in her heart center, she has also, once again, the number 156 associated with 13.4 and 11.2. That means that inside her mind, she has a lot of fear. She has a lot of perhaps schizophrenia. She has a lot like a monkey on her shoulder saying bad things to her, whispering things in her ear. Perhaps she hears voices. And this number 15.6 is also usually associated with psychopaths, especially when it's associated with the number 26.8. So this is really toxic. This is really dangerous. So perhaps Trump is a bit crazy, but Hillary Clinton, she is far more dangerous. And in her solar plexus center, she has the number 12, 3, 10, 1, and 8. And the number 8, also like the number 4 and 8, when these are associated with the solar plexus center, it's associated with being unfaithful or being the victim of someone who is unfaithful. That means that she is the victim of somebody who is unfaithful, and I don't think I have to tell you who that is, because I guess you already know. And so her destiny number is the number 12.3, which means that she ends up in a lot of drama. There's always drama around her, always problems, and she has the higher destiny number 33, which is about feeling that one knows something that is very philosophical, something that makes her feel that she has a very advanced awareness of things that very few people really understand. And that's also why some people will perceive her perhaps as arrogant, because she behaves like she has some knowledge that very few people would understand. In her third name, Rotham, she has the number 23.5. That means that she can get away with a lot of things. It's also a number of great communication. I once heard a Trump supporter saying that, quote, "I'm tired of hearing people who said that Hillary Clinton has no accomplishment. Staying out of prison for 30 years, that is an accomplishment." So whatever you may think of this, she has got away with a great deal of things, and there are a lot of conspiracy theories about her foundation, what they have done, perhaps killed many people. I don't know if that's true, but it means that with this number 23.5, she can get away with many things. In her fourth name, in the name Clinton, it's this number 28.1, which is about using the elbows to advance, get forward in front of others, but also sometimes stepping on other people. Her life theme number is the number 22. That is about, also like Donald Trump, passion and really want to carry out some things that one has on the heart, really wanting to change the world in an unselfish way. And so she has this column number 46.1, which is about really wants to be the very best in politics. All numbers in the column that starts with the number 4, they are associated with politics. In comparison, the one at Donald Trump is 43.7. That means that he wants to make major revolution. But Clinton, she wants to be the best. She wants to be number 1 politician. And now we are going to look at the year ranks of the election. For this year, we will now look at what happened this year for Hillary Clinton and what will happen next year. This year, in the beginning, we had the number in the main row 9, 8, 17, 8. That means that she has advanced greatly. And so in the spring, there was a lot of spotlight on her. And she also really put many people under the spell. That was when she won or at least she advanced towards becoming the nominee of her Democratic Party. So in the fall, she had these numbers 10, 1, 8. So that means that here she's number 1. She has won the nomination. But also that was in the shadow ranks. We have this number 12.3 and 10.1. These were related to her health issues. Now she is in the row of 6666. That is very much controlled. Only controlled by planet Venus. So it means that in this period there's a lot of support on her, a lot of people who like her. That's also why she leads the polls right now, but it changes from the 5th of November. Then she enters the period of 7, 14, 5, 9, 7. This is a less fortunate one, because 7 plus 5, that makes 12.3. That means some losses, some things that fails. And so also in her highest self, she has the numbers 9 plus 7. And 9 plus 7, that makes the number 16.7, which is about failure. So that means that if you look at Donald Trump for this year, until now, he in the start of the year had 9, 5, 14, 5, 3, 8. That means that major progress, major success. That means that he really boomed forward in this period. And so the numbers 5, 3, 8, that means making really progression in what one does. And that was when he won the nomination without really no effort. So now he is in this period called 7777. And the number 7, as also previously mentioned, is associated with planet Neptune. It's a planet that represents dreams and intuition, but this is also a way that it can be too much of this, so it can become paranoia, like when Donald Trump says that the election is rigged and everyone is against him and is fraud in the election. So whether this is true or not, I'm not qualified to say that. So when the rank changes, which it does the 5th of November, also for Donald Trump, he enters a period called 15.6, 13.4, and 16.7 and 45. So this is a much better period than what Hillary Clinton has. And next year, for Hillary Clinton, she has the beginning of the year 1, 8, 9, 2, 11, 2, 9, 7, and in the shadow ranks 8, 8, 16, 7, 2, 9, 7, 16, 7. These are some of the most terrible numbers you can get. These are extremely bad. That means that next year she will have major problems, major suffering. And I would say that she has a depression next year because she loses the election. And she will know that she can now never become the US president, because this chance only comes once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime one can get nominated for the party, but she did get nominated, but she failed, so that's why she will never be nominated again. And that because she had worked 30 years to become the president, and now she fails. So that means that I would say that these numbers that are this bad, they are bad because she doesn't become the president. But it could also be, I don't think this is very likely, but if it is so, she wins, and so she will have major problems as the president. And that could be because the country starts a new financial crisis, and she has grave problems dealing with that. But I would say it's mostly likely that she loses the election, and therefore she is really sad. For Mr. Trump, he has only good numbers next year. He has the numbers 1, 5, 6, 3, 9, 8, 17, 8, and in the shadow ranks he has 8, 5, 13, 4, 3, 7, 8, and these are great numbers. In the shadow rank he has the number combination 8, 5, 13, 4. This is a number combination called the World Conqueror. This is a number combination, as we talked about previously, in the country United States of America, in the right side, where it means that the wildest things can come true. This is likely to come true for him in this period. So if he loses the election, the year ranks would say that if this is the case, he doesn't care the very least, then he is back on track doing his business. But I would say he had put his life and soul into this campaign, and he had done so much, worked so hard to get elected. So if he fails, he would be very sad, and he would not feel good, because if you see how much time he works for this, and how many rallies he does every day, how many speeches he gives, everything. And therefore, it is very unlikely to think that he wouldn't feel a failure if he loses, because this number says that there is no bad feelings next year, really, like there's no feelings of major failure. It's all saying success. So therefore, as I would say, it's most likely that he does get elected, and he's very happy. Even though there's a financial crisis, he would still take it as positively as a challenge to solve. So for the election day, if we look at the day vibrations for Hillary Clinton, she has some very bad numbers. She has the numbers 8, 8, 16, 7, 2, 9, 2, 11, 2, 9, 11, 2. All these numbers, they say failure, and very bad failure. And after the election, the 9th of November, the numbers are 9, 8, 17, 8, 2, 10, 1, 1, 2, 9, 11, 2. And in the shadow, it is 9, 8, 17, 8, 4, 12, 3, 1, 4, 9, 13, 4. Horrible numbers once again. It says losing and having really tough time. Not necessarily, it just has it means that she's feeling really bad. And I would say that it's most likely that she feels bad because she loses and she's very sad. So if we look at Donald Trump on the election day, he has some great numbers. Once again, he has the World Conqueror. 8, 4, 13, 4, 3, 7, 2, 9, 9, 18, 9. And in the shadow, he has 8, 5, 13, 4, 4, 8, 2, 10, 1, 9, 10, 1. This really strongly indicates that he's winning. And because the numbers 10, 1 means success, being the best, and 8, 5, 3, 4, that means great success. And so, the 9th of November, after the election, he has the numbers 9, 5, 14, 5, 3, 8, 2, 10, 1, 9, 10, 1. These are incredibly good numbers. So I would say, despite that he's far behind, or maybe not so far behind, if we listen to what Mr. Trump is saying, he's saying that the media is rigged and that they are only supporting Hillary Clinton and therefore making fraudulent polls. So it is strongly indicating that Mr. Trump is winning the election. So here, I hope I have inspired you to see how much can be said about numbers in anyone's names, and you can present me to anyone and I can tell a great story about it without knowing the person, just as I have done here with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and the country, the United States of America. The purpose of this is that just as well as I can tell you this story from the names that you maybe hold right now or somebody else holds, if one changing the name after my or my educated numerologist's advice, you can change your life radically. That's because just as I can tell you this story from your current numbers, if you had other numbers, I would be able to tell you a different story. That also means that if you change your name after our guidance, we can guarantee you that you will get the absolute best success in love, cash flow, friendships, luck in general, and also your health will also be improved in many ways. So I would like to prove this. So also, if there are any media who would like to test me, I'm very happy to do this with my partner, Nina Apollonia. This also means that if you book a session with us and you follow our advice of name change, if you don't experience the change at least after 2 years, you can get a full refund. That's because this works 100% and it works for you and it works for everyone. So much more videos like this will be coming, so stay tuned.